Hey guys, this is Ashton from MuseThemes. Today I'm really excited to share our new photo filter widget. This is a relatively simple widget in nature, but it's one that provides a very simple way to accomplish a commonly desired design function in Muse. Taking a look at our demo here, you can see as I roll over these photos, I get a variety of different filter effects that activate in the hover state. We also have it applied here at the top of our page with a hero image and a nice filter and slick upward motion effect applied. Now, this feature isn't necessarily unheard of, but in regards to Muse, it's always been a bit tedious of an effect to accomplish. You used to have to create different versions of your images and upload them as separate images in your states menu. Our photo filters widget takes the labor and tediousness out of that completely, and provides this very customizable and simple way to accomplish this using just a graphic style. So we're going to switch over to Muse, and I'll start with a blank page so you can see how easy it is to set this thing up. Once you drag the widget onto the page, you're just going to see this one styling component. So first we need to add a photo, and you can do this by filling a rectangle or state button, or by just simply placing an image on the page. So I'll just make a small box here, and for the sake of matching the demo, I'll go ahead and make it into a circle that we can fill, and we do that by using equal dimensions here and then rounding the edges. So then we'll go up to our fill menu and select add image, and I have an image ready here. I'll go ahead and load that in. Now already I can see we need to change the fitting settings, so going back to fill, we change the fitting to scale to fill, and that'll fill our circle nicely. There. Now we need to assign a graphic style to our image, so we'll make sure our image is selected, and then we just have to go to our graphic styles menu here. Clicking this icon on the bottom will create a new style, and I'll go ahead and name this. You can name this anything you want, just make sure you use lowercase letters and no spaces. So I'll go ahead and name this Photo 1. And click OK. Great, and now we're ready to style. So let's pop open the settings panel for the widget. And the first thing it'll prompt you for is the graphic style name. So we'll go ahead and type in Photo 1 as before. Now below that, we have three sections of settings here. Normal state will set a filter for the image when the mouse is not hovering over the image. Rollover state, of course, sets the image for the hover. And the transitions allows you to set the transition timing and speed between the two. So for the sake of the demo, I want the image to start as is. So we'll go ahead and leave the normal state set to no filter. And I'll go ahead with a filter for the rollover state, and we'll go with blur for now. There. Now without changing anything else, I can already preview this page in the browser and see that the widget is functioning. Just like that. Our photo starts just as it looked when we loaded it in, and the blur effect is taking place on the rollover. So now I want to jump into a project file that Christopher has already prepared for our demo page, so you can see a variety of different options and ways that this widget can be used. We have a bunch of different photos here, all have a variety of different filters and transitions applied, and we do use a separate photo filter widget component for each photo, with a separate graphic style for each as well. On the top here is our hero image, which you saw in the initial browser preview. Another cool thing I want to note, I'm going to switch back over to the original preview, and you'll notice on this hero image, not only is there a brightness filter change on the rollover, but also a positioning change. So going back to Muse, this is something that you can actually add yourself using the fill menu. So by selecting the image, we're going to go to the fill menu on the top left, and you can see the image has its positioning set to top center here for its normal state. So if we switch over to the rollover state in our states menu, and then back in our fill, you can see it's now set to the center bottom. So you can use these positioning tools to complement your photo filters nicely and give the photo some motion on rollover. So now let's pop back into the widget settings one more time, because there's a few more things I want to quickly go over. In both the normal and rollover states, it's important to know that different filters have different value settings. So in this hero image filter right now, it's set to brightness, and you can see that the filter value percentage field is active and the other two are grayed out. Now this is going to change depending on what filter you select, but you'll find that most of the filters use this percentage-based field, like the one here with brightness. With the percentages field, it's also important to note that in most cases, using 100% will reflect the normal version of the image. So if you go less than 100%, it will create a negative effect, while settings above 100% will increase the effect. So as you saw in the demo, the image started very dark and increased in brightness on rollover. As you see reflected here, the image starts with only 3% brightness, increasing to 50 on rollover. So bottom line, it's just really important to experiment with each filter and the corresponding settings, because each one operates a little bit differently and it may require some testing to get it exactly where you want it. Now another note I want to make is regarding the transitions. In the first photo we created in the video, we went from no filter to a blur filter. Now, it's not necessary that you start or end with a no filter setting. You can transition from filter to filter. However, note that if you do that, because of the way the CSS works in the browser, the transition time controls are not going to function. So if you need to customize the transition timing, just make sure you're transitioning from a no filter to filter or vice versa. Now, the last thing I want to note is that this widget is not going to function in Internet Explorer. You may remember from past widgets and videos that Internet Explorer does not support CSS filters and transitions, and this widget does use them. So unfortunately, this isn't anything we can control since every browser handles CSS differently. But with all that being said, this is an awesomely simple but important widget and function of Muse, and we really do think you're going to like it. So, as always, if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, we're always here to help. Enjoy!